Okay, Shannon, you can put us on the record. This is the matter of, well, I misplaced my first page. Arisian, I ask that every time. How do you pronounce that?
We're doing the Holmes case first, Judge. Mike is on the Ellsworth case.
Oh, that's right. I'm
Yep.
sorry. That's why nobody knew the answer to my question.
I don't know the answer
All
even
right.
when you ask it when it's called, so.
Sorry about that. Yes, this is the matter of Zara and Destiny Holmes. Ms. Tucker's here for the petitioner. Mr. Hotchkiss is LGAL. And let's see, who represents Mom?
That's me, Your Honor. Rebecca.
Okay, Ms. McCluskey represents Mom. We have Mary Sparkman present and her mother. What's your first name, ma'am?
My first name is Catherine with a K.
Catherine. Thank you.
Catherine's, yeah, thank you.
Okay, in our off-the-record conversation, we discussed whether or not a trial date of July 13th is realistic, and I believe we've been waiting on some results of a psychological evaluation.
That's correct, Your Honor. We did get a short summary of the psychological evaluation, but not the full report, which we would like to have before moving forward.
All right, well, I've got a trial date identified of July 13th at 1 p.m. Will that work for everyone?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Given
Right.
my conversation with Ms. Blair before we started the live stream, it sounds like Dad's whereabouts are unknown. I would like for the court order to allow me to publish as to him.
Yes, you may publish as to the father, and I'll include that in the order. Anything else I need to address this morning?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day, folks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Do I just leave it?
Miss Ellsworth, you don't leave. We haven't got the case called yet.
Huh?
You hang on a second. The judge is going to call our case.
Oh. Oh, okay. That was for us. That wasn't for us.
All right. So we now are ready on the Ellsworth child. Ms. Ellsworth, could you pronounce your child's name for me, please?
Horizon.
Horizon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Judge, if we could let the worker Haley Bardot in.
And I'm showing Jackie Johnson on this case too. Let me let her in. All right, looks like we've got a connection now with everyone. So in the matter of Horizon Ellsworth, Mr. Brown's LGAL, Ms. Tucker represents the petitioner. Mr. Kelly represents, I'm sorry. Mr. Kelly represents the mother. And the mother's present as well as two workers, Jackie Johnson and Haley Bordeaux. So, Mr. Kelly,
Your
are
Honor,
we going to be able
I've had a chance
Go
to
ahead.
speak with my client this morning. She indicates to me that around the time of the petition, she had stopped using her methadone, was off her bipolar meds, and it the situation that was going on there. She had spent 4 weeks in Kingswood and then ultimately ends up at Odyssey House, where she's been for the last 3.5 weeks. She's willing to admit to the court, Your Honor, at around the time the petition was filed, she had some mental health and substance abuse issues going on that would not allow her to properly care for her child Horizon, and is willing to participate in a case service plan if the court has time to do that this morning.
Certainly. And Ms. Tucker, is that admission sufficient for the petitioner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So Mike, she's entering just a plea, not a no contest plea.
I'm going to have her enter a plea simply to it's like kind of a blanket statement that at around that time, she had some mental health issues as well as substance abuse issues that would not allow her to properly care for her child.
Okay, I was just wondering if we needed something for the basis of the plea.
No, if she's admitting to that,
Right.
that's sufficient for my purposes. I just wanted to make sure it was sufficient for yours.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, then, Ms. Ellsworth, would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down now. I need you to state your full name for the record.
Jennifer Amber Ellsworth.
Ms. Ellsworth, you are the mother of Horizon Ellsworth, born January 8th of 2020,
Yes, sir.
and was Horizon located in the county of Jackson at the time the petition was filed?
Yes, sir. Oh, Your Honor.
Have you read the petition, and do you understand the allegations that are made in it?
Yes, sir.
If the court accepts your plea of admission today, there will not be a trial, and therefore you would be giving up all of the rights that you would have at a trial. Those rights include the right to a trial by a judge or by a jury, the right to have the petitioner prove the statements in the petition by a preponderance of evidence, the right to question the witnesses who testify against you, the right to give testimony on your own behalf, and the right to have witnesses subpoenaed who you believe would testify in your favor. Do you understand that you will be giving up all of these rights if I accept your plea today?
Yes, sir.
If the court accepts your plea, the following consequences might happen. There will be continued investigation by the caseworker to see what the problems are in your home and family and how and whether they might be solved. The case could be dismissed if there's no need for further court involvement. If there are problems in your home and family that can be solved, the court could make your child a temporary ward of the court, place her with either parent, with relatives, or in foster care, and order programs and services designed to solve the problems. If the court determines you are unable to provide your child with a suitable home in a reasonable period of time, the court can terminate your parental rights, and your plea can be used as evidence in a proceeding to terminate your parental rights. Do you understand each of these consequences?
Yes, sir.
If your parental rights are later terminated, your obligation to support your child will continue until a court modifies or terminates the obligation, until an order of adoption is entered, or until the child is emancipated by operation of law. Appellate review is available to challenge an order of disposition following adjudication, and that challenge can include any issues leading to the disposition, including errors in the adjudication process. If you wish to seek appellate review and cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you on appeal and to assist you in obtaining court transcripts. You may be barred from challenging the court's assumption of jurisdiction on appeal if you do not file a timely appeal of the initial dispositional order. Do you have any questions about anything I've told you so far?
No, sir. Oh, no, Your Honor.
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to enter a plea today?
No, Your Honor.
And are you entering this plea of your own free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kelly, would you please establish the factual basis?
Ms. Ellsworth, would it be fair to say at around the time the petition was filed that mental health was not in such a state that you could properly care for your child arising at that time?
Yes, sir.
Would it be also fair to say at around the time the petition was filed that you have some substance abuse issues going on that would not allow you to properly care for your child arising at that time?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently in Odyssey House?
Yes, sir.
And are you addressing your substance abuse issues now?
Yes, sir. I'm also in counseling and I'm on medications for my mental health and for my substance abuse.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Counsel, do you believe the court has complied with MCR 3.971?
Yes, Your Honor.
I do accept the plea. I find that it was knowingly, understandingly, and voluntarily made, and that the record supports that one or more of the statutory grounds alleged in the petition are true. Are we able to proceed with disposition today?
Ms. Johnson, would you happen to have recommendations ready? I know you weren't really expecting a plea today.
You need to unmute, Ms. Johnson.
Oh, that's me? Oh, I don't have it.
Sorry about that. Yes, I have recommendations.
Go ahead.
Recommend that Ms. Ellsworth participate with mental health treatment and follow all recommendations, including medication. That she also cooperate and participate in all substance abuse treatment and screens. And I'm recommending supervised visits with DHS discretion to cancel a visit if she shows up or if she is not able to if she's, I'm sorry, if she is not in a condition to participate fully.
Either by reason of drug use or her mental state?
Yes, yes, sir.
Mr. Kelly, any objection to the recommendations?
I would have no objection to those recommendations. I would have to defer to the folks at Flint Odyssey House as far as the parenting time is concerned. I don't think that she's going to be able to leave that facility. I think the child would have to actually go up there. And also, Your Honor, she would possibly have some placement, individuals, family who'd be interested in placement. She's going to have to communicate with them, but I'd encourage her to communicate with a caseworker so the appropriate background checks can be done. Otherwise, we'd have no objection to the recommendations, Your Honor.
Very well. We'll set our first review hearing for
September 21st at 9:15.
September 21st, 9:15. So, Ms. Ellsworth, I like to say this to every parent once we get a plea or a finding. This is not a criminal proceeding. This is a civil proceeding. Nobody's interested in punishing you. That's not why we're here. The goal is to get you healthy. It looks like you're well on your way to that. The ultimate goal is to be able to return your child to your care, the very best place for your child. If you are healthy and able to care for the child, is with you. So our goal is to reunify you. We all are hoping for your speedy recovery. We want you to comply fully so that we can return your child to you. So I wish you well, ma'am.
Can I ask one question, please?
Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, Ms. Johnson, do you have a psychological evaluation, or do you just feel that one is not necessary in this situation?
I believe we have an old psychological evaluation. I'd like to look at it and see the dates on it to know if we need another. But we do have pretty clear information on the mental health.
Then that should be sufficient. That's what I figured. She was at Kingswood, so I figured you
I
had
was
that.
also at Henry Ford.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
After Kingswood, I actually went to Henry Ford because
Right.
Kingswood didn't have me on the right meds, but I got on the right ones at Henry Ford, and I came straight on to the hospital after that.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Good luck, ma'am.
Thanks.
Judge, did you want to discuss the issue with DNA and the fathers to see if there's
Oh,
any update
yes,
on that?
thank you for reminding me. So we had two potential putative fathers in the picture, I think at the last pretrial. Where do we stand with that? Has there been some testing conducted? Has any determination been made yet?
Both I'm blanking on his name. I'm so sorry. He has completed his DNA. Horizon's DNA has been completed on the 14th. I should have results within 2 weeks.
There's been two people.
No, Your Honor, there was only one putative father, and that's Brendan Miles, and he has participated in the DNA testing.
Yes.
I gotcha. I think it was confused with another case where we had two potentials. So pardon me for that.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I was a little scared for a minute, but what?
Okay. Sorry about that, ma'am. All right. Well, good. We should have those results very shortly then.
Awesome.
All right. If indeed he's confirmed to be the father, let us know. We'll need to schedule obviously, if he's confirmed and they're willing to both execute an affidavit of parentage, I guess the next question is we need to amend the petition so that would he be identified as a respondent based on the current information you have, Ms. Johnson or Ms. Bordeaux?
He would not, Your Honor.
When did she get here?
Oh, okay.
Well,
So assuming he's confirmed, he would be suitable placement for Horizon then, correct?
does she have children?
He does not have housing. He's homeless.
Who's the therapist?
I got you. Well, if he's homeless
Got here.
and he's not able to provide proper care and custody, that sure sounds like he should be a respondent to me.
I'm doing Zoom court right now with Jennifer, so I'll check into it.
So whatever his situation is at the time, if indeed he's unable to care for the child, he should be identified as a respondent. And I would expect the petition to reflect that. Okay, we'll have to wait and see on that. Just let us know. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So Shannon, I had Sarah Barnhill. All I had was a report. Let me see if
Yeah, that one probably didn't come up from the clerk's office yet. I requested it. It's an 05 file. I didn't have it on my desk. I believe I requested it Friday.
Okay, so Sarah Barnhill is next. Let's see, Ms. Wagner's on this one. And I do not have a file, so I'm going to need a little help here. The mothers, well, this is one we're heading towards guardianship.
That's correct.
The last one, Judge.
Um,
Just so you got something to look at.
No, I don't think I need it. And have parents been participating?
Dad's in prison, Your Honor.
I represent
Oh.
mom, and I've not heard from her, and I don't believe she's participated in the last few hearings.
All right, well, let's, obviously Callie represents the petitioner. LGAL is Ms. McCluskey, so Mr. Hotchkiss, you represent which parent again?
I represent mom, Nora Porter.
All right, and as father represented?
Yes, Your Honor, I represent Dad.
All right, can we waive his appearance today?
Yes, Your
Looks
Honor.
like we have it arranged for it. Okay. So let me ask Ms. McCluskey, how is Sarah doing?
Your Honor, I'm not sure. This is probably, with the exception of 2 times, every time I call placement, their voicemail box is full, so I cannot leave a message. I know we've addressed that on the record, and that happened again. So I was not able to get through. They usually do participate. I'm not sure if they're in the waiting room, but.
Oh, okay. Does somebody know their name? I've got people in here, but I don't know who's who from this file.
It's Brooke and Richard Wandau.
Okay, they're definitely here. Let me bring them in.
But I have reviewed the court.
And
report. I'm sorry.
All right, and I'm sorry, I see there are 2 children on this file, Sarah and Michael. Are they both with the same placement?
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
All right, well, let me ask the placement how these 2 children are doing. Mr. and Mrs. Wandell?
Yeah, both kids are doing pretty well for the most part. Sarah's now in counseling for issues that she had from the past. She started that. She's been to 3 sessions now.
And Ms. Wagner, are we making progress towards guardianship?
I believe we slowly are. I received an email from the licensing worker this morning, but I haven't had a chance to look at it. But Richard could probably update you on what's going on with that.
Go ahead, sir.
Currently just waiting on permit for a drain field. Been having issues getting licensed due to that. I did finally get that sent out. I messed up and lost the envelope. But I did drop that in the mail Saturday. So once we have that figured out, we should be good to go for licensing and be able to continue the guardianship.
All right, and then once licensing is completed, do we still have to wait 6 months?
No, I can file it right away once the licensing goes through. Once they're licensed, I can file.
Very good. Anything else the court needs to address on this file today other than setting your next review date?
Nope.
No, Your Honor.
Shannon, when will our next review hearing be on this file?
September 14th at 9:15.
September 14th, 9:15. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And let's see, that brings us to Waybright. Okay, let's see. We've got Ms. Tucker representing the petitioner. Ms. McCluskey's LGAL. Mr. Kelly represents the mother. Mr. Hotchkiss represents the father. We have Madison Banks here from the agency, and we also have Chelsea Waybright present. So Ms. McCluskey, let's start with you. How are Bentley and Tyler doing?
They're doing well in their placements. Bentley's doing very well. Bentley reported to his placement that there was a man living in the garage. Placement, or there's a shed on the property. There's a lot of people coming and going, strangers. So actually both placements have continued to report concerns, both with behaviors with the boys when they come home, and especially with the increased parenting time, the increased overnights, the behaviors have gotten worse. So they're both very concerned, as well as Tyler's previous placements, with mom's ability to handle, especially both boys. But at this point, she's making progress, and reunification is still a goal. Other than that, Tyler's placement, of course, reports observing a very strong bond between mom and Tyler. So that's a good thing. Both placements, again, report that, Bentley still kind of takes a back seat, and then that does create some behaviors with him. But otherwise, they're doing okay. So let's hope that this doesn't turn into removal at some point, because I think there's a very high likelihood of that. But again, mom's making progress. So I would like an update from the agency. I know there were some issues with the fact that mom's significant other is still living there, and there was a safety plan that he couldn't be alone with the kids. So we just want to make sure that there's a solution to that, because he's obviously her living together partner. So that's her support at this time. I've reviewed the report. I'm in agreement with the recommendations. Thank you. Your Honor, actually, I'm so sorry. I have a note for myself and I overlooked it because I launched into my tirade. So both placements do want to participate, and I apologize.
okay.
They're probably watching. So there would be a Mona in the waiting room, and honestly,
Okay.
I'm not sure. And Susan Bellman, I'm not sure that she's going to participate, but
I don't see anyone by that name.
okay. And Mona would be Tyler's placement. I think she wanted to make a comment to the court.
Yes, I let her in. She's making a connection now. I don't know if she can hear. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Would you state your name, please?
My name is Mona Yusuf. And
All right, and I'm sorry we just brought you into the hearing, but we're here on Bentler and Tyler Waybright. You have placement of which child?
So we had placement of Tyler. Tyler was reunified with his mom on June 18th. He was with us since January 7th.
And you wanted to address the court?
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize, when he came to our house at the very beginning, I did recommend that he have therapy and have a trauma assessment. And we were finally able to get therapy started towards the end of his placement. I think he had about 5 or 6 weeks of therapy before going back to his mom. The caseworker, Penny, would say that, she would look into the trauma assessment, but I don't know that she's ever done anything on it. I really wanted to strongly emphasize that I think he really does need that trauma assessment. He's such a smart and wonderful child, but he also has a lot of, I think, trauma that influences his behaviors, and he often acts out violently. There are some issues of concern, behaviors that he displayed, sexually inappropriate behaviors. And so my concern for Tyler is that I want to make sure that he continues to receive support in his mother's home. Otherwise, I do believe that he's going to have significant mental health and behavioral problems long-term if those aren't addressed.
So Ms. Banks, are you able to speak to the concerns that were just placed on the record?
To the best of my ability, Your Honor. So the worker, Penny Kirk, has more of the direct conversations with placement, so I can't speak to some of those things just because
I mean, she rarely did communicate with me. She only stepped foot in our house once at the beginning of the placement. And then, we had a few conversations towards the beginning. In the last few months, we really didn't communicate very much. And so I kind of, I did what I could with Tyler. And, I'm really glad that he's reunified with his mom. I think his mom has done a great job and they love each other very much. But I just want to make sure that there's some follow-up on the in-home therapy for him in his mother's home, which he started here, and the trauma assessment.
Thank you. So Ms. Banks, to the extent you're able, can you address those concerns?
Yes. So many of a couple of the instances Mona had brought up were investigated. There was a doctor's appointment to look into potential sexual concerns. No findings were found at that, to my understanding. I know the MIC unit with CPS did a full investigation and there was no preponderance of evidence of certain things occurring. We have put safety plans in place regarding the two boys because they do have tendencies to fight and they can be violent when they fight with one another, which is not particularly uncommon for children with their age gap, particularly children with the traumas they've experienced and the different level of cognitive understanding of the situation. And I know Bentley's very bonded with his grandparents and there's some jealousy things there between the two boys, which escalates some of their fighting and things like that. So some safety things were put into place to try and prevent further escalations. We ensured that mom was getting individual time with both boys during her overnight parenting times. Bentley would go first and have a day alone with his mom. Then Tyler would come and then Bentley would leave a day or so before typically, and Tyler would stay an extra day to give them some more one-on-one time with their mom to maybe alleviate some of that. The boys are no longer allotted to sleep in the same room together. They're supposed to be watched to prevent them having any child-on-child altercations, whether it's physical or potentially anything worse than that. In regards to mental health services, I know I've been trying to connect with the previous therapist in the last week because Ms. Kirk is on a leave of absence and has been for almost a month now. I've been trying to pick up some pieces or find out some information that I might not have known prior because it was meant to be things she was doing and I couldn't find updated information in the file over the last couple weeks. So I've been trying to sort through a few of those things. And we have already looked into getting therapy started with Chelsea. There was also discussion of trying to do a family therapy session in home with Chelsea and the kids, either in home or at a service, either way. Which I know that referral was made. In regards to her living together partner, we can't, and CPS also emphasized that we are not able to determine anything about who Ms. Waybright's in a relationship with or anything like that. We did discuss until we are able to either put some services in place or put anything into place that he might be willing to participate in to alleviate any safety concerns regarding him, that he is not to watch the boys alone. However, if Miss Waybright is present, it's supervised by her and she should be able to make the judgment call of if that's appropriate or if there's inappropriate things going on as a normal parent would. Tyler was returned home on Friday. When I spoke to Mona, that went well. In some of our discussion last week, Tyler was very ready to go home. He was very excited to go home. I know Bentley is feeling the same way, and his placement is looking forward in the next week or so to return him home to his mother. And Families First services are in place. They have met with mom a couple times. She's had no concerns so far regarding starting things with mom. We have a list of similar to these concerns that Families First is going to be working on directly with mom. And I believe that addressed all the current statements.
Was a trauma assessment explored?
I do know that it was explored and discussed between me and Penny. I'm trying to find the referral information in our system, and I can't speak to if the referral was sent or not. But I know we had discussed over the last couple months getting all of the information to do that referral. If it has not been done, I will redo it or do it initially. I just haven't been able to find.
Well, I definitely see value, given some of the behaviors that have been displayed. We want to make sure this reunification is successful. We don't want to traumatize these children further by a future removal. If we can head something off at the pass, I think it's worth doing.
That's not a problem, Your Honor.
Ms. Banks, with what you have in place, would those not address the issues that are being brought up now?
As of now, they have addressed the issues to my understanding. I know some of the things in the home, we haven't heard of any instances in the last month or so since our TDM occurred with the state and service providers, and we put a lot of these things in place.
So these service providers aren't expressing these things to you then?
Well, it was the only service provider. Well, there were two, each boy was in therapy sessions.
Right.
So I'm not sure what you were asking, Mr. Kelly. I'm sorry.
I mean, all these issues are being brought up. All these behavioral things are being brought up. Are the service providers noticing them and expressing them to you?
The behavioral concerns or concerns of reunification?
The children being in the home, the issues that are being brought up by this placement, are they being expressed to you?
They have not been expressed to me directly, but unfortunately, I'm not the worker who typically should be dealing with them. And I have not received a call from a service provider. However, the therapist that was in our TDM expressed that there have been ongoing behavioral issues with Bentley over the course of his childhood. However, he did not express there were concerns of reunification occurring to me during that meeting.
So these behaviors aren't directly related to being returned to mom. It's not like they're model citizens, go home to mom, and now they're terrors.
No, they've been ongoing behavioral issues throughout the course of the case. I think they have been escalated somewhat due to extending parenting times to most of the week. And I know Mona's family lives about an hour or so away from us. So I know that's a long transport for Tyler as due to his age. And I typically see when we start transitioning back to home and that flip-flopping from placement to birth parent, and we typically see an escalation of behaviors. I think in the last month, we haven't seen the significant behaviors that caused some CPS MIC investigations 2 to 3 months ago, but they're not new behaviors by any means.
And is mom receptive to suggestions on how to address those?
She has been, yes, which is why one of our discussions included potentially doing a family therapy amongst all of them to start working through some of these behaviors or emotional concerns, or I know jealousy was brought up between the two boys and their different experiences and things like that. And family therapy was brought up to address all of those things, which
So
she has been open to.
Is it fair to say with this transition, these behaviors are decreasing, not increasing?
I would say the severe concerns that resulted in the CPS calls have not been occurring. So those have been decreasing with some of the safety things put into place, like separating the boys and having some more supervision and things like that. I would say that is fair. I think some of their emotional responses like anger and frustrations and things like that are normal when we see a transition home. And these boys already had some of those tendencies, which
towards each other.
Correct. And towards
And these services you've got in place right now will assist with those further, correct?
Correct. Families First, one of our goals within them is to work on that de-escalation and parenting situation with the kids.
Your Honor, I think throwing another provider in is just going to cause even more anxiety, stress, whatever you want to call it. It sounds like the services that are in place right now are doing their job. I would request the court another report period to allow that to occur instead of piling on at this point. The caseworker, the people that are actually running this case, they've made the recommendations that the court has contained in the court report, and those are appropriate. Adding on because what placement thinks is not appropriate. This court doesn't take suggestions from placement. It never has, and it shouldn't start now. I would request that you follow the caseworker's recommendations, as she's very clearly outlined her understanding of what's going on, and she's maintained communication with the service providers as well as the previous workers. I'd imagine if there's any concerns there that she feels needs to be addressed, they would be in the recommendations. So I'd request you adopt them as they are now and hold off on piling on any further services at this. We're going to be back here in 60 to 90 days. Thank you.
Mr. Hotchkiss, did you wish to speak to any of the recommendations?
Your Honor, as the court knows, my client's not availed himself of any of the services. He's not been in contact with me, so I'd have no comment. Thank you.
All right. I do see value in at least exploring whether either child would benefit from a trauma assessment. I'm not ordering that they be given trauma assessments, but I do want it to be explored. Our next review hearing is September 14th at 9 a.m. I think any tools we can give this mom to deal with boys that are struggling a bit, having trouble adapting, any help we can give her is going to be beneficial. So September 14th, 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we have Jacob Conan and Selena Garcia Stidham. Let's see, Mr. Conan, I will let in.
Hello.
Hello. Shauna Watson, we'll let her in. And let's see. Looking for the mother's name. Ashley.
Ashley's in jail, I believe, according to the report.
That's correct.
In jail here in Jackson?
I believe she's in Jackson County. The report would indicate that she has a release date of July 26th. And it looks like Hillsdale County may have a hold on her as well for after she's released.
Well, I can call over and ask the jail to make her available. Give me just a second to do that. Hi, this is Judge LaFlamme. Would it be possible to have Ashley Conan brought into my Zoom room? Thank you very much. Okay, that's probably going to take a few minutes, so let's put this one aside for the moment while we're waiting for Mom to show up. And I can do, let's see, I've got a post term for Terry and Trace Decker. And let's see.
I'm also the worker on that, Your Honor.
I see that. Yes. Okay. And who's our?
Your Honor, I'm guardian on this one.
How are Terry and Trace doing?
Your Honor, it's the same thing with every report period. I call, I leave a voicemail asking them to return my call. They don't return my call. This has been going on since probably shortly after adjudication happened. I know the caseworkers attempted to assist in this regard. It doesn't seem to make a difference. I've reviewed the report. I have no objection to the recommendations.
So Ms. Watson, how are the girls doing?
They're doing very well. I saw them yesterday and we completed a new semi-annual transition plan for them. Terry's all set to start school this fall at Siena Heights for college. She moves in the beginning of August and everything's in place for that to happen. Also, Trace is doing summer school and it's going very well. So she's doing much better with the summer school program than she was doing with the online schooling during the primary school year. And it does look like she will be able to make up some credits to be able to move on to 11th grade this fall. And she hopes to do the Career Center as well. So both girls are doing really well and enjoying their summer vacation. Trace, not so much because of summer school, but they're both doing really well.
So if I remember correctly, they have been seeing their parents occasionally?
No, they do not see their parents.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, say that again?
They're placed with their adult sister and they do see some extended family members, but they do not see their parents. They do not speak to their birth parents.
Oh, okay. Well, that surprised me. I must have misread something
Okay.
when I looked at this yesterday. So I'm glad they're doing well. We'll set our next review hearing for September 21st at 8:45.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we're still waiting on the jail, so we'll move to another, that one. The Hudson miners. So let's see, Ms. Blair's still here. And Ms. McCluskey is LGAL. And I'm sorry. I don't have attorneys' names written down for either parent.
Your Honor, I represent Mom.
All right, let me write that in the. And I think I see, is her name Lorraine Hudson?
Yes,
Yes,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
All right, we'll let her in. And let me see if Dad's present. Yes, he is. We'll bring him in as well. As soon as we have an audio connection with everyone, we'll proceed. Mr. Hudson, you can hear me okay?
Yep, I can.
All right, so we're still waiting on Lorraine Hudson's connection. Well, we're having trouble establishing that one. Maybe we can get her by phone so we don't have to delay. As far as you know, Ms. Blair, is the telephone number on the petition still accurate for Mom?
The number that I have for her is 517-750-8366.
All right, looks like we might have a connection now. She's muted though.
I'm unmuted.
Okay, Ms. Hudson, you can hear me. Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, this is the matter of Ethan, Jaden, and Gavin. And let's see. Ms. McCluskey, how are these three boys doing?
Doing well. They're obviously in the care of their non-respondent father, and so they're fine. There's no concerns there. And I don't have any doubt that he can handle the agency's recommendation that a custody order be put into place, because obviously mom's still struggling, but we did have a conversation about that, myself and Mr. Hudson. So I reviewed the report. I have no objection to the case closing upon entry of a custody order. Thank you.
And Mr. Kelly.
No comment, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Well, the recommendations do appear appropriate. Mr. Hudson, have you taken steps to get a custody order entered?
Like with the front of the court?
Normally, that's how it's done. You would start with a petition, motion rather, for entry of a custody order. I have done those to streamline the process before. What does the current custody order provide?
Well, right now, like the original was just the 50-50 custody, but I was going to head over to FOC after this and start the process.
All right. Well, once you get that rolling, I will provide in my court order that a custody order may enter. We will set a further review hearing. Since I'm not going to terminate jurisdiction until a proper custody order is in. Shannon, you didn't give me a date for that.
21st of September at 9:30.
September 21st at 9:30. If a custody order is entered before then, I can terminate jurisdiction without a hearing. So the friend of the court will definitely want to know that I've authorized entry of a custody order, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are ready to go back on Conan and Garcia Stridham. I see Mom is present. Let me get her in. Ms. Conan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, it looks like we now have everyone present on this file. Ms. McCluskey, how are these two children doing?
I left messages for both of these placements and I didn't get a return call. So I was not able to make contact. That's not like them. I usually am able to get through. So I don't have concerns with either of these placements. Obviously, they have always met the needs of the kids and the kids do well in their care. So I have no concerns. I did review the court report and I'm in agreement with the recommendations. Thank you.
And let's see, Mr. Kelly, I would assume you are in support of the recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Conan has done very well. We would have no objection to reunification of his child with him with FRP. Thank you.
And Mr. Hotchkiss.
I've not discussed these specific recommendations with my client. Obviously, she's not able to participate in a service plan until she's released. The recommendations seem to be appropriate under the circumstances, but again, I've not discussed them with her. Thank you.
All right, and Ms. Conan, did you have any questions for me?
No, I do not.
Do you know how long you're likely to be in jail?
Until July 26th.
All right, I do believe the recommendations are appropriate. I'm going to implement them. Mr. Conan, I'm glad to see that you're making good progress. We will set our next review hearing for September 14th at 9 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I've got a few post terms now. David Russell and Rain Rochford. I don't see Ms. Cooling. Or Ms. Sprague. Let me see if there's any other names on the report. Deanna Scott. Don't see Kimberly Brown. I think, Callie, I'm just going to let everyone in.
Okay.
And
I apologize
see.
for that, Your Honor.
I would have expected whoever's on the report to be here, but I'm not seeing. Let me look at that's the only report I've got. All right, I'm going to let everyone in and we'll find out who's here on this matter.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I let everyone in because I'm not sure who is present on the matter of David Russell and Rain Rochford. I know Ms. McCluskey is LGAL, but are there any workers here on this file? Well, that's not good. Is anyone here from Open Door Adoption? I've got everyone muted. If someone's trying to speak right now, you're going to have to unmute to do that. Okay, well, I guess Ms. McCluskey will go forward without them. Can you give me an update on David and Rain?
Sure, Your Honor. So, David, I know in our last review, I had spoken to David's new placement, which is a grandmother, and I was a little concerned that she could end up being overwhelmed with David's needs, but I felt a little better after speaking to her this report period. It sounds like the services that David needs are being set up and they're actively involved. So she says everything's going well. He has his good and bad days. Obviously, we know David has had some pretty significant trauma, but he's seeing a therapist once a week. He's doing occupational therapy, or he has done a few sessions. I think around July 7th, he'll have an initial visit with a psychiatrist. There are no concerns at dental appointments or hearing appointments. They did do a vision test, and it sounds like there could be a medical need for surgery in the future, but nothing of great concern. So everything's being covered. School went really well this year. And she did report that although David has a lot of behaviors at home, it didn't seem that he was having a ton of behaviors at school, which is a good thing. He enjoyed school, so he will be progressing to kindergarten in the fall. So that's a good thing. And then Rain has always done very well in his placement. They go above and beyond to meet Rain's needs. And he's growing and hitting milestones. So everything's going well for both boys. The report, I am in agreement with the recommendations. Thank you.
All right, and Ms. McCluskey, while you were speaking, I noticed that Kimberly Brown signed in, so I let her in. She is present. Ms. Brown, can you give me do you have any updates rather for your report for David or Rain?
No, I don't have any additional recommendations or comments. However, I do want to apologize. I actually had the court date scheduled for the 29th. I tend to watch kind of the YouTube hearings. So when I heard you mention David and Rain's name, I quickly logged on. So I do apologize for that.
No problem. We're glad you were able to get in. I didn't realize I had such a following on my YouTube channel. So very well. I will implement the recommendations. We will set our next review hearing for September 21st at 9 a.m. Thank you. Next up is King Hamby. And let's see. Ms. McCluskey again as LGAL. And I don't have a report and I don't have any names. Is anybody here on King Hamby?
I am Mallory Olson.
Okay, very good. So Ms. McCluskey, how's King doing?
Your Honor, I left a message for placement. I don't think I've ever gotten a call back from this placement, honestly. So if the agency worker wouldn't mind letting her know to please return my calls, I would appreciate it. I did get the court report. I reviewed that and I'm in agreement with the recommendations. Thank you.
So yes, Ms. Olson, do you have anything to add to your report?
Nothing to add. I do apologize for the late submission. I also had this scheduled for next week, so my court report wasn't submitted until late yesterday.
From your perspective, is King doing well?
He's doing well in the home. He's adjusted. He's well bonded with his great-grandmother. I do have him re-referred for a trauma assessment that is scheduled for July 21st. He's up to date on his dental exam. His well child is overdue, but scheduled for July 20th. Other than that, no concerns. And I will communicate with the caregiver to be sure to get in contact with Ms. McCluskey.
Thank you.
All right. I will implement the recommendations. We'll set our next review hearing for September 21st at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's see, Kingsley Clute. And Mr. Brown is LGAL on this one. And who are the workers, or who is the worker on Kingsley's file? If you can speak up, please.
I had thought it was William Whitman.
It's Lauren Ravensky is the adoption worker.
And she doesn't appear to be present. And it says Victoria Lukes or Lux. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. According to she's the one that submitted the report. Is not present. You know, I think what's happening here, these cases were probably originally scheduled for next week. And when I scheduled 2 weeks in a row off to give the attorneys an opportunity to take some vacation, we had to move this one. And for whatever reason, the workers are still locked into the old dates.
The court report says court date 6/29. So that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. So, well, let's move forward. We do have a court report. Mr. Brown, how is Kingsley doing?
Doing wonderful. He's in a placement. Both of the pre-adoptive parents are doctoral professionals who take excellent care of Kingsley. So I have no concerns there. This is a competing case. There is a meeting. Consent has been requested. However, MCI director has requested a meeting with all interested parties. Just real briefly, this is the case where the CPS out of Southeast Michigan, in their infinite wisdom, even though they knew Kingsley had siblings in care, chose to disregard that out of the gate and placed with someone else. So there are competing parties, and caused just a terrible mess in this matter. Otherwise, right now, all her basic needs are being met. I have no concerns with this placement. I have indicated that I would not weigh in on the mess that's been created. Both parties are wonderful, but there's no right answer and there's no wrong answer. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
All right, well, the recommendations appear appropriate. Looks like it's going to be a while before the dust settles on this one. I'm glad that Kingsley's in a good home, but I don't relish the task that's in front of MCI right now. We will set our next review hearing for September 21st. At 8:45. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a review hearing for Sophia Tabor. And let's see. Mr. Kelly's LGAL on this one. Ms. McCluskey represents mom. And let's see, Mr. Witherspoon. I don't see a note on here as to who's representing him. Does he have an attorney appointed? Does anyone know?
Mr. Witherspoon was made a respondent in the last report period, so I don't know if someone has been appointed to him yet.
Well, he's still in prison, isn't he?
That's correct.
And I don't have any indication that he was written in for this hearing. Shannon, did we ever appoint someone for Melvin Witherspoon?
I don't think so.
I know we went for a long time when he was just putative.
Correct.
It seems to me he said at some point that he didn't want anything more to do with this case. Don't bother him anymore. Does anybody else remember that?
He did initially say that at a court hearing, but then later changed his mind and did sign the affidavit of parentage. And then we established him as a legal father and a petition was submitted.
All right, I think what I'm, so he's not been adjudicated.
No.
Let me take a
That's
quick
correct.
look here. Well, the petition was filed back in April. I think we need to schedule this one for a pretrial, Shannon. Let's set that up in a couple of weeks. And let's make arrangements for getting Mr. Witherspoon here so we can get an attorney appointed for him. I think we can complete the review hearing today as far as mom is concerned.
Okay.
So while Shannon's working on that, let me ask.
Trial will be July 13th at 8:30 and prosecutor can write them in.
Yep, that's fine. I will make a note to do so.
Okay. And let's see. Ms. Watson's here. Mr. Kelly, how is Sophia doing?
Your Honor, I'd spoken with placement last week. Doing really well. I have no concerns with her continued care there. Have no objection to the recommendations. Thank you.
All right, and as to Mr. Witherspoon, I really can't order anything for him yet because I haven't adjudicated him yet. If he wishes to participate in services, he certainly may do so. And I would encourage that whatever is available to him while he's incarcerated, he'd be encouraged to participate in. But we're going to need to adjudicate him before we can do anything else with him. Ms. McCluskey, do you have any comments on the recommendations insofar as they apply to your client?
It looks like she's participating in the services that are offered at the Hope House. So it appears she's doing well. The recommendations look appropriate. I don't have any objection. Thank you.
Okay, we'll set another review hearing then for September 21st at 9:15. And Shannon's already given you the date and time of the pretrial for Mr. Witherspoon.
And Your Honor, was that July 13th at 8:30?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And a couple more post terms. We have the Reyes minors, Mr. Kelly's LGAL. And let's see, I've got Ms. Kleckner listed as a caseworker and adoption worker. So it looks like we've got everyone here. Mr. Kelly, how are Brooklyn and Aaron doing?
Your Honor, I spoke with placement. They advised that Aaron is doing fine. However, as the court report somewhat references, Brooklyn was removed from the household and was sent to a residential for mental health issues. Apparently, there were some threats of harm to the other children in the household. There was a journal that was discovered with descriptions of how she was going to do this to them and then harm herself. So hopefully things are looking better, it sounds like, for her, for Brooklyn at this point. However, placement is still willing to adopt Aaron. I reviewed the report. I am in support of the ultimate goal of adoption for both these children. I'm not sure when that will be realistic, if it will be for Brooklyn, however. Thank you.
That's pretty extreme behavior for an 11-year-old.
This placement's family too, Judge. So it's not like it's a stranger that this kid's never known. This placement is actually family, and it just goes to show you some things that are lying underneath that just get triggered for some reason, unfortunately.
Ms. Kleckner, do you have anything to add to your report?
Brooke has her next appointment. I think I indicated this in the report, but she has her assessment appointment tomorrow with Lifeways. So I'm hopeful that we can get in-home services in place for her soon.
All right. Well, I'm sad to hear that. Brooklyn's been through an awful lot in her 11 years. It's not surprising that she's exhibiting trauma symptoms. And let's see, let's set our next review hearing for September 21st at 8:45.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our last post-term, Caleb and Kyle Van Horn. Mr. Kelly is LGAL. And let's see.
Hi, Your Honor. I'm Amy Daly. I'm a foster care supervisor at DHHS, and I am sitting in for Kristen Aldridge on the Van Horn case.
Okay, thank you. So your recommendation is we cut Caleb loose?
Yes, Your Honor.
Since he doesn't want to participate in the young adult voluntary foster care program.
That's right. That's my understanding.
And Mr. Kelly, have you been able to have contact with Caleb and Kyle?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke with Caleb. He's doing well. He's enjoying parenthood. He has a infant daughter. He advises me she's a little over 6 months, and she's sleeping at night most nights. I told him how much he's lucked out in that regard, because I know your experience, my experience with children, that always isn't the case for a while. But he again reiterated to me he would like his case closed out with a court. I think he's in a good place, and I think also he's pretty resourceful. And his brother Kyle is doing good. There's no concerns there. So I'd have no objection to case closure for Caleb and continuing on.
So don't tell Caleb this, but my grandson that was born on the Eisenhower Freeway on Saturday slept 6 hours his first night at home.
Wow. Lucky.
So go. All right. And Ms. Daly, do you have anything to add?
No, I reviewed the report, and those recommendations are accurate as you reflected.
Well, I am so glad to hear that Caleb is doing well in fatherhood. It's encouraging to see. These boys have been on my docket, I think, ever since I took over the docket. So it's good to see that Caleb has done as well as he has for all that he's been through. It's encouraging. I believe the recommendations are appropriate. We'll be closing as to Caleb and following all the recommendations as to Kyle. And we'll see you all back here.
Your Honor.
Kyle? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying we were done for the morning. I have something to bring up before we break for the morning. So,
No, I was just getting ready to give you a review date for Kyle. September 21st at 9 a.m.
Thank you much.
So go ahead, Ms. Daly.
oh, that was me, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I wasn't looking at the screen. I just assumed that was Amy that said that.
That's okay. There are much worse people to be confused with.
All right. I still have one other. Oh, no, I don't. That's it for the morning.
Right.
I've got a juvenile matter at 10:30, but so, does this need to be on the record?
Yeah, I think so. I noticed Miss Peterson was on. And so then I pulled up Evelyn's case, Evelyn Peterson.
That was supposed to be a pre-trial.
Yeah, it looks like that was supposed to be set for pretrial at 8:30, but the wrong year got put into OnBase, so it didn't print, or not into OnBase, into JIS, so it didn't print on your docket for today. But given that Miss Peterson is here and the worker is here, I didn't know if that was something you wanted to quickly address.
We could. This was set for a pretrial?
It was supposed to be, yeah. There was just an issue with the dates.
I don't have the file, but certainly let's see who all is here on that one.
Your Honor, I'm guardian on this one, I believe.
And this is a dependency petition, if I remember correctly.
Right.
So I'm not sure there are any other attorneys unless Mom was given one for whatever reason.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And I'm assuming we have a trial date set?
It's set for July 13th. And I think we're all set to proceed at that time. I don't think there are any pretrial issues unless Mr. Kelly wants some more information on anything.
I'm good.
Okay. So then we should be all set for trial. I just, like I said, I saw Miss Peterson on the call and wanted to make sure that her case was addressed.
All right. And Ms. Peterson, did you have any questions for me? I apologize for the confusion.
Not right now. I talked to the foster care worker this morning about some things, and so I'm just kind of ready for my day to. I don't know what all this is about. I mean, I know what it's about, but definitely ready for my day to defend myself and my child.
Okay, well, you've got your trial date. We'll see you all back here on the 13th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, and I think that concludes our morning docket. And how do things look for 1 o'clock today?
Just dependency on Walsby. That should be quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't take very long.
All right. Well, let me stop the live stream and we'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Judge.